more. I now call Christina McKelvie. The next speaker will be followed by Gordon Lyndhurst. Ms McKelvie.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And can I welcome the debate to the Chamber today and Margaret Mitchell's debate on it. Specifically, we both attended the event last week. And can I pay some personal thanks to the work of Hannah Brown and the Stamp Group, the University of the West of Scotland Students' Association and the staff that are working with them to change attitudes at university. And as a former co-convener and campaigner for the Scottish Parliament's cross-party group Men's Violence Against Women, the right to be confident about your own safety, standing safe, sounds as if it should be automatic. But of course it isn't. And that's why I have campaigned to get Clare's Law enforced in Scotland and made revenge porn images a criminal offence. And I have worked with a whole range of agencies, both statutory and voluntary, to keep on getting the message across. Sexual violence against women has no place in Scotland at all, including its universities or its colleges or its learning establishments. It is never, ever okay to use violence on someone in any context. But the reality remains that at least 1 in every 4 women in this country will encounter some sort of sexual violence in their life. There is still a stigma about being a victim, and we hear a lot about victim blaming. The underlying message, even though it is rarely stated, is that somehow it's her fault. She really wanted it. No, she did not. Not in any way did she. She took the violence because and only because she had no possibility of fighting against it. She was just as much the victim as the elderly priest who was shot in France recently. Sexual violence can be as fatal as that gunshot. And I joined the staff and the students at the University of the West of Scotland's Paisley campus last week, along with my colleague Margaret Mitchell. And I think we learned more than we gave, to be honest, and we're very, very grateful for that. They were launching their very own Stand and Save campaign, a microcosm, a great example of how we can work together to raise awareness on the one hand and at the same time shift the attitudes that gender-based violence and force it out of all of our lives. It is no longer the natural consequences of a big firm match, nor a joke to snicker at in the pub. If we can get to that place, then we will be seeing a real sea change. And I think there is a movement, there is a shift that is kicking down the historic tolerance of sexual violence, and I think campaigns like this one are great exemplars of that change. And in this Parliament, our Scottish Parliament, we are setting out a concrete, visible series of measures designed to get us closer to that ultimate aim of personal safety, standing safe from any violent or sexual assault. And I'm sure across parties we will work together to ensure that is the best we can do. But just last week, we were here discussing the potential for a new specific criminal offence on domestic violence. This is legislation that will help to bring justice for victims and will cover sexual violence of mental and emotional kind, coercive behaviour. And that's some of the behaviours that young people experience when they're at university. They're coerced. Then they'd think, my goodness, I can't be that victim. But they are that victim, and we need to blaze that trail. The only effective method of creating a safe environment is to use 2 complementary sets of tools: local community groups working to eliminate this criminality and a clear justice system that works to enforce it. And I'm sure Margaret Mitchell will take forward that endeavour with great gusto. The Scottish Government has achieved a lot and continues to argue for more protection for victims and a more robust legal system that can deliver guilty verdicts for a very precise crime of sexual violence. And I really welcome the work of Stamp and the UWS students and their staff partners. All of us who are involved in whatever way and working towards the eradication of these heinous attacks stand together. We stand safely together. Having the right legislation in place is important, yes, and so is the kind of community action that Standing Safe is promoting. By awareness raising and peer contact, young people will be better able to protect themselves from risk, and those who do suffer will have better access to support and hopefully not be bystanders. I'm a realist, presiding officer. I don't think that men's violence against women is suddenly going to end, but I firmly believe that we are on the right road towards making it completely, totally unacceptable. There is no acceptable level of sexually motivated, gender-based violence, and I hope we all stand safe with the students of the University of the West of Scotland.
Thank you very much. Call Gordon Lyndhurst, to be followed by Claire Baker. Mr Lyndhurst, please.
Deputy Presiding Officer.